What's up? What's up, everybody? What is going on? Hello. Theo Malone is in
one
with
big
me.
jumbled mess here of chords.
Yeah, you do. Theo Malone is here. It's been a while, but he is back. Bill Hooks is gone. So what's us do today? How's everybody doing? What up, Ryan A40? Ernesto, good to see you back on the chat. It's been a few days.
See if that does a trick.
There you go.
Can you hear me? I can hear myself, at least in one headphone.
You can hear me.
Right. But
Yeah.
and in my left headphone, not my right headphone. But to be fair, that's probably a product of just my crappy headphones.
It definitely is.
I think I'm the only one in the building with headphones made by Mattel.
You might be. And you won't get new ones.
Well, I put that on my Christmas wish list. Maybe it'll be in my KFOR stocking that never gets hung.
Well, I think I know what we're going to get you for Christmas.
The same thing you got me last year?
Well, we didn't get you anything last year.
Right.
Hey, Claire. How's it going? We got Brett Jodie coming up to open the show. Ask Will anything a little later. Make sure you get your questions. This will be, I think, Thew's first ever Ask Will anything on the show.
Yeah, I've done it online. So you can always blur a lot of those out.
Well, geez. Nice one.
Right into the microphone, too.
That was a good one.
It's allergies, by the way. Not
okay. You don't have to say it's not COVID because I don't think anybody really,
I was one of the first documented cases of that in Lancaster County.
Really?
4.5 years ago, yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think that's been 4.5 years ago?
Right.
Ernesto said KFOR stocking. How about the photo KFOR board? Claire, the shirts are not going well. I'm not going to say they're not going great. We just haven't found a vendor yet. We'll put it that way.
What shirts? Did I miss out on something?
We're trying to get some shirts
that say,
well, the morning hookup and all that.
Bill and Will.
Hold on.
This is the morning hookup on KFOR.
Welcome into the morning hookup. Happy Thursday. Welcome into the show. Hope your Juneteenth was awesome. If you had the day off, hope you had a good time. But we're back. One more day until Friday. Will Wilson with you. Bill Hooks is gone. He's gone for the rest of the week. He's in Colorado right now. So he's having a good time. We got Theo Malone filling in. Theo, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
It's good, man.
It's been a hot moment since I've been on.
It has.
I've always wondered, what is a hot minute, hot moment?
They say
I don't think that they've ever quantified that.
No, it's one of those,
It's just a term.
Yeah, one of those terms that nobody really understands. But it's good to have you back.
Well, it's great to be back.
You haven't been a stranger, which is nice.
No, I mean, even when I can't, be in here with you guys, I love this. I love this streaming. This is great because if I happen to have some downtime at work, because it can't be on it while the train is actually moving, or if I'm busing to a location, it's great to just tune you guys in and of course, then give my sarcastic comments via the stream instead of behind the microphone.
That's why we love you. You're really good at that.
The resident get off my lawn guy has just chimed in again.
He's back. Coming up, we'll have Saltdogs manager Brett Jodie. I believe he's already on the line. We'll get to him in a minute. We got Ask Will Anything a little later. There's a few topics that I want to get to. They're still talking about expanding the NCAA tournament, even though there's not a single person in this world that wants that to happen. Some NFL news, and we'll get to all that a little later in the show. But every Thursday, we bring on Saltdogs manager Brett Jodie, and we got him on the line right now. Coach, what's going on? How are you?
What's up, guys? Are they really talking about expanding the March Madness field?
Yes.
Can you believe that? I mean, they've been talking about this for years, and like I said, there's not one person that wants this to happen, but they keep talking about it.
I mean, they already do it now with all the play-in games, right, for like the 11 seeds and stuff. So they actually expanded it already. But no, I think they need to let a good thing lie. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine having to fill out a bracket with 256 teams? Yeah, no one's ever getting that perfect bracket money.
No.
I don't think so. It's hard enough as it is. But no, like I said, I like it how it is, man. I didn't know they were talking about that. But everybody wants more inclusion and I guess more chances. So whatever.
We're talking to Saltdogs manager Brett Jodie. Well, Coach, you guys wrapped up the road trip. You're back in Lincoln. What's that like? You know, by the time you're done with that road trip, what's the feeling like to finally get back home?
It's nice, and it was nice to have the off day, coming back kind of late at night after the Sunday game in Gary, and had the Monday off day, and then we had the rain out Tuesday, which was, you know, normally you kind of want to get back out there, but it was nice to have a little break. It almost seemed like an all-star break or something. So, and then played the doubleheader yesterday, but the guys seemed, you know, kind of rejuvenated a little bit, and it was nice to have a little break there towards I guess the first third of the season, you know, done with. So it was good, but no, happy to be back at it and happy to be back home. It's always good to be back home, even though we haven't played as well as I would like at home. But it's still good to be. It'll get on a little bit more of a routine. You can get in the weight room a little bit, get in the gym, get some rest, get in your own bed and stuff like that. So it's always nice.
Hey, Coach. Speaking of the rainouts, I mean, I know it's you know, when you're on the road, you're probably just confined to a motel or something like that. But when you're at home and you're experiencing kind of the monsoon season that we're for some reason having in Lincoln, are you guys allowed to use like the Gordon inside facility or something like that? Do you guys still get some work in even when the games are rained out when you're at home?
So hopefully we can dodge some raindrops and get out there. Like on the Tuesday rain out, we were able to go outside and get some work in before the rain came in that afternoon. But no, we are not allowed to use the Gordon Center. That's a topic that I would love to.
All right, I didn't mean to pick a scab there. I'm sorry.
No. I would love to have that ability, but that's something we can't use. But we do have a wonderful hookup with D-Bat. They're great people over there, and they've let us use that. So if we can schedule that out, they allot a time for us or whatever. If we have some rain or things like that, we can always call. And even if it's last minute, they can kind of work us in there and get us a couple cages or something where we can get some work in. So that place has been tremendous hookup for us, and like I said, those people have been very nice. So D-Bass is somewhere we can go to get our work in if it is raining. And you're right, man. The season, I've been here for 4 years now. I've never seen anything like it with the strength of the storms and the severity of them, and you know the wind and the amount of rain that comes in a hurry. So it's been kind of crazy since the first day I got here. So this year, so it's been tough. Luckily, we haven't had too many rainouts. We've been able to kind of dodge some of that weather, but it has been bad for sure.
Well, Coach, since we last talked to you, like you said, you were in Gary, and now you're back in Lincoln. Talk about what the team's been doing recently. I know last week you mentioned how you've been playing in a lot of close games, and it seemed like that has continued.
It definitely has. Yeah, in Gary, we lose 2-1 in Gary, and we had some opportunities there, and you know, kind of ran ourselves out of an inning, one inning, and you only have so many opportunities in a game like that. And Gary was pitching well, and just you know, got to get that big hit or get that one more run or find a way to get it done. The pitching is actually getting healthy, so we're getting better in that front. Now we had a couple of position players banged up. We had one with a concussion, another one with a quad, another one with a groin. I think another guy with a groin. So we had some muscle pulls and different things like that going on. So we're not able to do some of the things we want to do, you know, some speed type things. We're stealing a lot of bases this year, and we're bunting a little bit, doing some hit and runs and stuff like that, trying to create some action. But then when you got guys that can't really run, then it's tough. And that happened in the ninth inning against Gary, where we got the leadoff guy on, but he really couldn't run over there. So I wanted to do some things, but I couldn't do it because he was probably, you know, 60%. So it's tough, you know, working with what you have, but trying to get healthier on that front as well, and just get some more guys clicking on the offensive side. And if we can get the offense going along with the pitching and kind of combine the efforts, it's going to be pretty special. But this year, it seems like it's been one or the other for the most part. And you need both of those things to be clicking to win a lot of games in a row or win series. So, but that's what we're trying to do. We still got a lot of time left. Obviously, we're trying to win some series here, and see if we can't gain some ground.
Well, Brett, I kind of want to expand on that a little bit. You know, being in independent ball, I mean, you probably maybe tend to see roster turnover from one year to the next a lot more than what you may experience in, say, the major leagues or something like that. So every season tends to kind of be its own entity. And here you are, almost maybe a third of the way through the season. Are you able to sit back and kind of look at where you're at compared to maybe other seasons or where you'd like to be? And I know maybe some of the players listen, so we're not talking about any individual players, but is there maybe like a specific area, whether it be middle relief or a corner infielder or a corner outfielder with some power, some things that maybe you're looking to kind of add to or address as we head, to the rest of the season?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're always looking, obviously, and you want to upgrade where you can, and I do have a good feel of what we need, but the other part is trying to find that and finding somebody that's going to replace the guy. Because you want to upgrade. You don't want to just make a parallel move and just say, hey, let's get this guy in here and see if it works out. Because you feel like you're letting go of a player that, was good or could potentially be good and stuff like that. So it's very tough for me to let go of a guy because that means you're pretty much giving up on a person. And a lot of these guys that we have had success in the past, or we've seen glimpses of it even now. And so it's tough to give up on that guy. So if you do want to make a move, you want to make sure it's an upgrade. And that's the tough part right now is trying to find a, double A, triple A, big league guy that's an upgrade definitely in the spots where we're kind of weak in. Right now, it really doesn't matter position player wise as far as what position they play. I might be looking for an outfielder or something, but somebody that can drive in runs. And I know that's, who doesn't like to drive in runs? I think everybody likes to, but there's certain people that rise up in those situations and there's certain people that don't. Right now, we don't have enough guys that are comfortable in that situation. And it's crazy. I mean, I've seen that all my life. And some people you're able to work with and get them to change their mindset and be the same hitter they are with nobody on as they, as you want them to be with runners in scoring position. But right now, and pitchers obviously throw tougher pitches and with runners in scoring position too. So we have to adapt to that. And that's a real thing. But want guys that are just not trying to do too much, that take what's given to them. If they get a good pitch to hit, take a good swing on it. If they don't, then pass it on to the next guy. But I think some of our guys try to do too much in situations and stuff like that. We really could use a guy in the middle of the order, 5 holes, 6 holes, something like that, to really be comfortable rising up in those situations and not chase or anything. But if he gets a good pitch, he's putting a good swing on it. And I'm not talking about having to hit a double in the gap. I'll take that, but just hitting a sacrifice fly or hitting a ground ball to the infield with the infield back with a runner at third, less than 2 outs, just things like that. We have to be able to get those runs in, and we're not doing a good enough job at that right now. Aaron Tykus is somebody that's he's really thriving this year, and after kind of a tough year last year, and it wasn't because he wasn't playing well last year, just a lot of bad luck. But this year, he's finally being rewarded. He's hitting in 3-hole for us most every day. He's really thriving in that role and driving in some runs. We need a few more guys to be on the same page. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. And as you look at it, you can kind of see who rises up in those times of need and who kind of just does not feel comfortable in those times of need. So we're having a lot of conversations with the guys that we have on the existing roster to try to get them more comfortable and work on their approach in those situations. But that is definitely something we need as an RBI contributor. We hope Matt Pita will be one of those guys too. He broke his hand or wrist earlier in the year, and he's probably a couple weeks away. He just got his cast off, and we're hoping he can be one of those guys, AAA guys. So he's experienced and stuff and can play all over the field. So we're hoping he can be one of those guys. But in the meantime, we'd like to bolster the roster on the offensive side. And like I said, the pitching side, you're always looking to upgrade there too. We do have a lot of guys that are coming back off of injury, and hopefully that keeps moving in the right direction to solidify the staff. But made a lot of movement in the rotation, and we're probably going to continue to do that in the starting rotation. The bullpen is kind of solidified with their roles and stuff down there. So we feel pretty good about what we have, and we feel like we can cover up the innings now, where earlier in the year it was very tough to try to find a way to pitch all the innings, because if the starter was getting blown up or something like that, we didn't have a long guy, didn't have that sixth starter or anything. So it was very tough. But now we're finally able to cover some innings. So it's been a lot of challenges already early in the year, but we're trying to get on top of those things. We're not too far away, but an RBI producer or two would be very helpful, and that would really get us in the right direction.
Well, obviously we got the CWS going on, and then you have the Major League Baseball draft. And after that draft, I know that you don't want to make parallel moves, but I don't know how closely you guys watch for those that maybe didn't get drafted high and maybe could add to your team later in the season. Number one, see how closely you watch that, and then secondly, especially how close you watch maybe some of the guys that share that same field as you guys do during the spring, dressed in red. Because in the past you've had guys like Luke Roscom or a Jay Cohensee who played their ball here, have familiarity with that park, and they're also kind of a draw for some of your fans. They know who that is. To watch a former Husker be able to stay in that park and play. Nebraska had a really big senior class this year. I didn't know how close you kind of keep tabs on some of those guys and maybe being able to nab another one later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Rader was another guy. Cam Wynn's a guy, too, that we've been talking to a little bit. He's trying to build some more arm strength and get his velocity up, but he got released out of camp this year. I forget what minor league affiliate he was with. But so yes, to answer your question, we do look at all those guys now, especially with the draft only being 20 rounds. And I know they signed a few free agent guys as well, but there's a lot of good players that are available now that are not getting drafted. So I think you have to really do your research there. And I'm in contact with a lot of college coaches, throughout the year and everything. And some of them are waiting for the draft and some of them go to the MLB draft league. Some of them go to the Pioneer League and different things like that. So there's a lot of leagues too that are fighting over those same guys. Cause like I said, there's just not as many players as there used to be. But yes, there's a lot of talent. We've added some. Dylan Beck is a guy that started for us twice so far. He's right out of college. He was a closer and a starter for his team. And we've added some other young guys as well. We've had a lot of success doing that. So to me, if you can play at a pretty high level in college, I think that sets you up, pretty well to do well here. I'm actually looking at a SEC catcher right now that played at the University of South Carolina. SEC baseball, obviously they're fighting for it in the College World Series again. It's a very good product. And I think if you can get some of those guys, they're used to seeing 95 plus every night with some good breaking balls, and it's a high level of baseball. So I think they can come in and there's still the consistency factor to learn and the everyday grind, but there's not as much of a learning curve as it is for maybe a D2 or D3 type guy or something like that. And so you really have to pick and choose and look at some video and talk to the guy, see if they have the right mindset and stuff like that. And if they have the right mentality, all of them, like I said, have similar tools and can do the job, but can they be consistent with it? Because like I said, as you go up the ladder, that's what kind of separates everybody is the mentality. How strong are you mentally? And then how consistent can you be? Can you come in and we pretty much know what we're getting from you a day in and day out? I know you're going to have an off day here and there, but everybody can do it every now and then, but can you do it most of the time? That's what we're trying to find. And so, yes, we are talking with some of those guys right now and trying to sort through that. And there are a lot of guys that we will be looking at. And if we have the spots to add those guys, we will definitely do so after doing a lot of research and a lot of background checking, a lot of video research and stuff like that. But yes, there are a lot of good players that are not getting drafted right now that I think, that's where independent ball really helps those guys out to showcase themselves and say, hey, you might have made a mistake. Like, I'm a pretty good player. Like, come watch me at a pretty high level here and let's see if I can get picked up.
Saltdogs manager Brett Jodie. Coach, got the rubber match against Sioux City tonight, 7:05 first pitch. Who are you throwing and what's the game plan for tonight?
We have Abdallah Arif tonight. Sioux City's a little bit better against lefties, so it's not the best matchup for us, but we trust Arif, a veteran arm. He's thrown better the last two times too. The velocity's kind of come back a little bit. The breaking ball is getting a little bit better. He's utilizing his changeup a lot more this year. So we feel pretty good about what he brings. I got to figure out the lineup still. I'm trying to find, we have a lot of guys that are kind of in the same boat and there's not much separation there. I'm trying to find some separation and play guys every day and try to find that solidified lineup. But there's some positions that just aren't getting taken right now. They're just kind of up in the air, and I really want somebody to come grab those. And like I said, we're trying to find some more guys to drive in runs and just be a little more consistent. So juggling the lineup around a little bit each day and trying to find a hot hand. And but yeah, just need to play clean, need to play smart. These games, a lot of them are tight. I always talk to the team about minor details, little things that make the difference in a game in the long run. And you can see that in a lot of these games. If we do one thing a little bit better, then we're in the game. Last night, we're in that game in the second game, and we missed a fly ball and right. And I'm not saying it was an easy ball to catch, but I think our guy, this is professional baseball, our guy's good enough to catch the ball. If we catch it, then it's it's still 1-0 instead of 3-0 after that inning. So there's some little things like that just take place, whether it's a base running mistake, a hanging 0-2 pitch, or whatever, that needs to be cleaned up for us to be a little more consistent and start winning these 1-run games, 2-run games, and things like that. So, but yeah, looking forward to having the opportunity to win a series tonight. That's what it's all about. That's what we need to start doing, and hopefully it starts tonight.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight, man.
I appreciate it, guys.
See you, Coach.
Thank
There
you.
he is, Saltdogs manager Brett Jodie. 7:05 first pitch tonight. Haymarket Park, Thirsty Thursday. And, of course, Connor Clark will have the play-by-play right here on KFOR. Let's take a break, Thew. When we come back, there's a few stories I want to get to. Of course, we'll talk College World Series, even though I think a lot of people around here are starting to really not care, considering it's basically a SEC conference championship. But we'll dive into that. I got that story about the NCAA tournament and an NFL story involving quarterback contracts. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay there.
More next on the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
All righty. I'll tell you what, I got some bug bites right under my knee. If there's one thing I love in life, it is, I know you're not supposed to do it, but I love itching bug bites. It just feels so good. Oh, my Lord. Shane, I forgot you guys were off yesterday. I turned on the radio to Dave Ramsey telling me how financially unstable I am. Yeah, that can happen. But, I got to be honest, I actually really enjoy listening to Dave Ramsey. The people that call in and the stuff they spend their money on and why they're in debt is kind of funny to me. And Dave's reaction is everything to those people. It is so funny. Dave Ramsey was on yesterday instead of us.
Yeah, I saw that. It's probably a good thing I don't listen to him either.
Greg, thanks for the Ask Will Anything questions. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. What up, Adam?
Wonder if old Brett Jodie has any need for a tore up left arm in its 50s.
Well, how many seasons ago was it when who was I can't think of his name right now. One of the legends of Saltdogs baseball. Was it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, this is gonna go back a long ways because you would have been a pup, but the first season, or the inaugural season for Saltdogs baseball, our manager / starting, he ended up just being a manager after a while, was Les Lancaster. He was an old Cubs pitcher, and so he was still listed as a pitcher / manager. If you look at some of Pete Rose's baseball cards in his late career, he was listed as both a first baseman and a manager. Like, if you're struggling and you're playing and you're the manager and you need to come out, but you don't pull yourself out because you're the manager too, how does that work?
Jackie Mooning it. I'm trying to figure out this guy's name. He was one of the best of all time, and he came back a few years ago and played a game. I want to say it was like...
What about old Warner that patrolled the right field for so long?
What was his first name?
Was it Brian or something?
That's who I'm talking about, yeah.
Well, no, he didn't come. He came back to our celebrity softball game, and for some reason he's in law enforcement, and they kicked our teeth in.
Well, yeah, but he came
You remember
back.
that?
I do remember that, but a few seasons ago, he actually came back and played a real game with the Saltdogs.
I mean, and Kurt Smith was there for a long time, obviously. But yeah, that was unfair. That police department did some recruiting. They got tired of losing like 2 or 3 in a row to us. And we walk out there, and they've got like 3 or 4 dudes the size of pool holes.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
They started spending some money.
They did. They started they started recruiting down there just simply for this celebrity softball tournament. And they toasted us. We got folded.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played in that yet, so if you guys need help, I could come cheer you on. I'm not going to give you any help on the field, but I can come give you some motivation. I haven't played in the police fire. I haven't played in that one. I only played in the media.
Well, but when the media one, we had the fire department on our team, and then the other media has the police department on their team.
Yeah, but
It's the same turn. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but didn't they only have like 4 media? Like it's
Yeah.
not. It's not a big
Well,
pool.
but it's the one that we do down there at Haymarket Park with you, like me, you, Bill, and JP and those guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, same one. They recruited for that.
Sit tight for me. Welcome back into the morning hookup. Happy Thursday. Bill Hooks is out today and tomorrow, which is why we have Theo Malone in today.
Is he traveling for that baseball?
Yeah, traveling for baseball.
You know, it's nice when the kids finally get out of the select and into high school. And I'm not saying that you don't travel, because even in Legion, sometimes you do a tournament in another state or whatever. But it's not constantly being in another state every weekend, it's nice. But on the flip side, though, too, sometimes some of the best friends you make are the other parents, down there in the parking lot of the hotel sharing a beverage sometimes after a game. So I do miss that part. But just, then having 2 kids in select sports at the same time, where maybe one has to be in Des Moines one weekend and another one has to be in Tulsa at the same weekend. So it's like divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Those we don't miss.
Yeah, I did my parents a favor because I really didn't play a lot of my sister was the one we traveled for. If you have a kid who plays soccer and baseball, I'm sure you're traveling a lot. So I always remember traveling. I was never the one that had to drag my parents anywhere.
And also, too, the dance and cheerleading.
Oh, God.
They travel a lot to different competitions and stuff like that, too. And it is just as expensive, too. So hats off to the parents of those that are in dance and cheerleading.
We'll have Ask Will Anything coming up here in about 15 minutes. Get your questions in. Theo, College World Series, briefly touch on this. The final set, A&M took down Florida. Hell of a run from Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good team.
Made us look better.
Yeah, don't you? A lot of people are upset that we got seeded with them. As a 3 seed, give me a break.
I don't think so, because if you look at, they were one game over 500,
but they had the hardest schedule in the
country.
They did,
and they barely got in. And yeah, they were playing good ball toward the end of the season. They relied on a lot of youth that maybe cost them some games early, and they put together a resume and they did it. Yeah. It just happens. I mean, there's no shenanigans that go on with the seeding. Sometimes you have teams like we remember. I don't know if it was Southern Miss or Mississippi State or somebody a few years ago was a 4 seed in their regional and made it all the way, to the final game. I want to say something like that. So it happens. And this sport, it's a game of streaks. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what you're seeded. If you get hot, you can make it. And boy, that Florida team, they could hit the ball.
They could.
And playing in that phone booth that we played in down there in Stillwater didn't help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they lose last night. A&M, Tennessee's in the final. I think you mentioned this before the show, and I think a lot of fans around here are going to be agreeing with you that. And I think we're all kind of rooting for Tennessee for one specific reason.
Well, first off, let's just be clear that my give a care, I'll use that word, give a care meter is really low. It is baseball. I love baseball. Probably watch it anyway. But it is kind of being torn because I think we all remember the antics of that Tennessee team a couple of years ago. It's a gentleman's game. You can talk a little smack, but there's still a code of how that game's played. And we just remember Tennessee kind of maybe not respecting the game. And I think that turned a lot of people off. But, as Husker fans, boy, do we hold grudges.
Yeah,
boy, do we hold grudges.
Yeah.
And across the other side of that diamond is going to be Texas A&M. And we don't need any reminding of who's in charge of the entire Texas A&M programs.
Yes.
He whose name shall not be said, something like that.
I think we all know who you're talking about.
And so angry, bitter, hold a grudge Husker fan doesn't want to see that program who a certain person left for have any success. They don't want to see that. So you'll probably see a lot of Husker fans somehow swallowing. Pick your poison, right? Who do you choose here? You're really not a fan of any SEC team most of the time.
No.
And if you are, you've got some connection that a brother, sister's cousin went there and blah, blah, blah. But it's hard to root for any SEC team. So
I'll tell you what, with NIL and, just the usual reasons why South baseball teams are good, whether, fans, I wonder if this is going to be a trend where we keep seeing SEC, ACC, usually West Coast, they're in this thing, not, didn't get there this year, but I wonder if this is going to be a trend here for years to come.
It could be. But at the key, and you guys kind of alluded to this the other day, the part, and I was really thrown back that you didn't know that yeah, you're only given a certain amount of scholarships, and that pie has to be divided up.
I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, it's that low, and I mean, I would venture to say that. I mean, I don't know for sure, but the most that, like, if you have a stud player, like say an Alex Gordon come through, might be able to give them 75% scholarship. So that NIL is huge, because if you look at partial scholarships, say you get a 50% scholarship to go play at Tulane. Tulane was great in college baseball for many, many years, but it's like $50,000 a year for tuition. And I'm not accusing Tulane of cheating, but I mean, where do they make that up at? And so that's where this NIL, comes in huge. And, you had the Butenbach family in here talking about that golf outing for 1890. And that's going to be the key, because the one thing that, regardless of how our sports are doing, whether it be football or basketball or baseball or volleyball or any of them, is that Husker fans deeply care. But now comes that time where they maybe need to show it, because at the end of the day, remember back when we would need new facilities, hey, this needed upgrading. Well, you go to your big donors, A, B, C, and D, and those big donors are going to donate to the athletic department, and then we're going to be able to do that, or add on skyboxes or do a South Stadium thing. Well, now if we're asking those donors, A, B, and C, and D, to now fork out the money to help out with this NIL, where are we making up that gap to keep up our facilities? So the need for everybody to help out has increased. Instead of just relying on your big multi-million-dollar donors, it's getting $5, $20, $25, $50 from every fan possible to not only keep our facilities up, but to also be competitive by helping out with the shortfall of our student athletes.
Yeah.
So if we can keep that up there, the fans will be there.
It's going to be Tennessee, Texas A&M Saturday is when that championship series gets going. 3-game series. 3-game series.
Yep, best of three.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to be wearing? Orange?
I don't care.
What do you got on today? What would you call that? Salmon?
Yeah, salmon. I think
I would go with salmon.
Yeah.
It's not really a peach. It's more of a salmon.
I like this shirt.
For those of you that can see that on our feed, help me out on that.
I think it's salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah. Before we get to Ask Will Anything, there's a few stories I want to get to. We brought this up with Coach, and it makes no sense to me. This has been a topic for probably 4 or 5 years now about expanding the college basketball tournament, and it's being talked about again. And it's funny because every time this is brought up, everybody and their mom has nothing good to say about it. Everybody's against it. They don't want it to happen, but the NCAA is like, it's like they're deaf. They don't hear what their fans are saying. And maybe they don't care about what the fans are saying. It's clear that all they care about is money. This came out yesterday. On Wednesday, NCAA officials presented Division I conference commissioners with at least 2 different models that could expand the NCAA tournament field to 72 or 76 teams. If passed, the NCAA's plan for tournament expansion would not take effect until at least the 25-26 season. The presented changes would keep the core 64-team bracket intact, adding additional play-in games and at least one more first 4 site. Expansion to the women's tournament could follow suit. So they'd be basically just adding more play-in games. The full 64 field would still be a thing. That wouldn't change. But you're still games, a ton of different sites, and few. The only reason I could see them doing this is to make more money. But what's rich about that is, according to Investopedia, the NCAA made $1.28 billion in revenue off the tournament in just last year. You're telling me that's not enough money? Like, how greedy are these people? It's insane to me.
I'll be honest with you, Will, and maybe it's because I'm lazy, but I have been hard pressed to fill out brackets ever since we expanded to 68.
Yeah, you don't.
I
do
liked
it.
having my bracket come out on Sunday and then having till Thursday to fill it in. And now I don't want to be hard pressed that I have to have this bracket done by Tuesday because I've got these 4 extra games because we have to have a certain amount of conference winners, which is fine. I get that. Give every Division I basketball program a fair chance at the tournament. I agree with that. But we also, want to be fair and have a certain amount of at-large bids because I don't know. Were we one of the last 4 in this last year?
No.
Okay. It was close. I mean, we teetered on a lot of those topics throughout the year,
Yeah.
If it was at 64, would we have not gotten in? And then would I be up here being angry? I don't want to see it oversaturated and watered down that we're just taking everybody. But I will say this at the same time, though. I can't say that I'm totally against this because I look at the other that NIT tournament and I see, good 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in there that there were quality teams. And you can, look at A&M. I mean, who we played in the first round. You get hot at the right time, get the favorable matchups, and you've got a chance, especially if you play in a tough league where maybe your record isn't a fair indicator of where you rank up against the rest of the country as far as, ability. I don't know if the pure reason for doing it is just for money. I think that's a little bit sad. But if you're trying to be fair to incorporate the best 72, 76 teams out there on an even field, I'm okay with it. But then let's get one of these play-in sites down here at PBA then.
I wonder.
Let's do that.
Obviously, the fans are against this. I wonder what the coaches and the players think about this because I actually think they would maybe be for this.
I think they would if it gives them another chance to play.
Right. Yeah.
To have to go out and win 7 games in a row to win a national title. Okay, great. But it gives their programs also exposure. And when you go to recruiting, you can say, are you guys any good? Well, we made the field of 76 last year. We're good. At least take an official visit here.
76 teams. Give me a break. Again, $1.28 billion is what they made last year, and they want more. Greedy, if you ask me. Before we take a break, one more story to get to. Just recently, Trevor Lawrence was the latest NFL quarterback to get paid. And, we're seeing a trend of these quarterbacks taking up a lot of the team's payroll. And even though this doesn't look like it has legs, there's some owners talking about it, having a salary cap on just the quarterback's contract on your payroll. NFL owners are discussing the possibility of not having a quarterback's contract go over 25% of a team's payroll. What do you think of that?
It's sad that would have to be, implanted in there that you'd have to do that. I would think a very cerebral quarterback would look at that and say, hey, yes, number one, I need to get paid. But if I take everything, there's not a lot left over for me to have quality receivers to throw to.
Yes.
Maybe a great right tackle to block for me. Or maybe a defense to stop anybody to where I'm not having to, put up 40 points a game to keep us in it. This is probably not a great example, but Tom Brady recognized that and never took more. Of course, his wife at the time made a lot of money, and he, of course, had a lot of endorsements too that would help up with that. This is one, Will, I can see both sides of this. I really can.
It's kind of like the NBA in a way.
Yeah.
Because, they have the max, the super
max contracts, stuff like that. I would think that I could see it going towards that too. Just because you may have the quarterbacks too that are me first and just want to cash that check, especially if they've already, won a ring and that's not as important to them. Getting that big payday is, and it doesn't leave a lot of pie left over for the rest of the team and the general manager who is still trying to put together a competitive squad out there on the field.
It's just a topic and it's a conversation. According to this article, it doesn't have legs. Don't expect this to be a thing immediately, but it is an interesting idea. It is. Let's take a break, Thew. It's time for Ask Will Anything. Send in your questions. You better write some questions down, too. And we'll get to that after the break. Don't go away.
More next on the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
There's Mr. Bill Hooks in the chat there. And Nora's got the questions in, of course.
They should put a salary cap on radio producers.
No, they shouldn't,
No, that you're right.
because we need more money. It seems like there is already a salary cap on producers.
Well, just as long as you don't sit out radio producer mini camp for a new contract.
Should I hold out?
You should. Hold out producer mini camp until you get a new contract.
Bill just shows up and there's nobody to run the board.
Yeah, Bill will be sad.
Yeah. Hey, that's how it works, right?
It does.
If you need somebody to run the board, solve
Yeah.
the problem. Send in your questions. It's Ask Will Anything.
Maybe is Bill taking too much of the money for the morning show and there's nothing left for you?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Bill.
Where out in Colorado is Bill today?
I think he's in Steamboat. Or something with steam. I don't.
Something with steam?
The town has steam in the name.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I think it's Steamboat.
Steamhenge?
Steamhenge?
Steamville?
Maybe Steamboat's wrong. Or Colorado. No, I don't know. Bill, let us know if you're still on the stream. He must not be busy if he's tuning into us.
Well, it'd be 9:30 there from Mountain Time.
Steamboat. I'm right.
May or may not have a
Steamboat Spring.
May or may not have a game there that early. They might. They're an hour back.
Send in the questions.
Probably not a lot of humidity there for them today in Colorado too. That's what would be nice about. That's what's nice if you ever get the chance. When the youngsters travel out to Colorado, it's great. Depending on where you're playing, sometimes you can even see the backdrop of the mountains, maybe a little snow on them, but the humidity is a lot less.
I like what you said earlier about, when you go on soccer trips or baseball trips, the parents get to know each other. And that's so true. Like some of my parents' best friends are people they met during soccer trips. And, and they are super close today. They hang out all the time. I just find that really cool.
Well, I'm getting text messages about questions to ask you too.
Good. We'll need to bring those up. Do you see on the chat there? It says starred. There's live and starred.
It says star it?
No.
Oh, yeah, starred. Okay.
So click on starred, and you're going to read the questions to me, okay?
Oh.
See them there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're going to ask those to me, okay?
Oh, okay.
That's your job.
I'll sneak some others in too.
Okay. You're going to be Steve Harvey.
That was watching that the other night, and the category was greatest game show host, and it was on Family Feud. It was like top 4 answers on the board, and it was so rigged because Steve Harvey was like one of them. And like top game show hosts were obviously, and the others I got right. It was Trebek, Sajak, and Bob Barker. But you're going to tell me that Steve Harvey is the 4th greatest game show host of all time?
I don't know. Welcome back into the Morning Hookup. Happy Thursday. One more day until Friday. Hope your week is going okay. Will Wilson, Matthew Malone with me. And it is time for Ask Will Anything. We do this every single Thursday. One of my favorite segments. And Thew, I am giving you the job of asking me the questions. If you're on stream, comment, give us the questions. If you want to call in with a question, 402-489-1240. I know you're getting some questions on text.
Yep.
So let's get into it.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
I think I'll start with the one on the text first, so I don't forget. But this question comes in from Brian. He is the host of the Husker Army podcast. Actually,
Oh, good. Okay.
So
yeah.
I know who Brian is, and Brian asks if the Black Shirts have an even better season this year, how hard will it be to keep Coach White?
Ooh, people are already assuming that this guy is going to leave after the season because he already had a great season last year. If he has a money season this year, he can get a head coaching job somewhere, and I think it tells a lot that he almost left after last season. So
would the move have to be? He won't leave for a lateral move. Do you think?
To
go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think if he leaves, it's going to be a head coaching job.
If you leave me now. All right. Our next question comes from Greg. It says Roy McAvey has his
McAvoy.
That too. Has his 7-iron in Tin Cup. What is your go-to club?
It's a great scene in Tin Cup where, he hits it. He's battling, and then the guy hits it down the road to win. My go-to club, I'll tell you what, my 3 hybrid has bailed me out way too many times. It's the oldest club in my bag, and I don't think I'm ever going to throw it away. I mean, it's bailed me out so many times. Other than that, I do like a good 8-iron.
An 8-iron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna try and paraphrase our next one. It comes in from our lovely host who's out of state, happens to be in the state of Colorado today. And with that, he asks, since he's in Colorado, what is the most money that you have spent in a state where it's legal to maybe buy certain things in that state that's not legal to buy here?
When I went to Palm Springs a few years ago, I think I just turned 21. So I was old enough to buy weed. And California prices weren't cheap. I think between me and my buddy Colin, I think we might have spent about $200 on THC products. And it was worth it. I mean, it was a great time. And it was the first time I've ever been to a legal dispensary. So I had to kind of ball out.
Sure.
I'd say it was around $200, Bill Hooks. Thanks for making me admit that.
Now, you know that the brass is going to be waiting outside the studio when we get done for our random, right?
Oh, they can't. No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm clean now. I'm clean now. Trust me.
All right.
Drug test me, cowards.
What do you got? All right. Let's Nora's got one. Nora just asked if you're ready to lose a Family Feud tonight.
Tonight is Family Feud at Tavern on the Square. She is the reigning champion, her and her friends. So she's trying to go for a repeat tonight. I am playing with my dad and a couple of friends of ours. So that starts at 7 tonight. You want to play?
I'll probably be working, but is this every Thursday?
No, it's just a one-time Thursday.
One-time Thursday? Well, how is she the reigning champ then?
Because they had it last time they had it. It was months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, they
right.
have it like every few
Well,
months.
if I find out when it is again, I have yet to meet Nora too. Seems like a sweet gal, but may have to bring.
She's cocky.
We may have to bring her a big old humble pie.
She's cocky. I mean, she really wants to win tonight. For some reason, her and her friends take this so seriously.
That's
fine.
fine.
It's just Family Feud.
I am competitive, and I am full of absolute useless knowledge that I have translated into nothing in my life. So what better way to celebrate that than going and winning some bar games, right?
To answer your question, Nora, I am ready to lose. I don't have much faith in our team, and knowing how bad you guys want to win and how good you are at this game, we're probably not going to win. So
she also asked if a hot dog is a sandwich.
That's from her friend Hannah, and no, hot dog is not a sandwich. It's a hot dog,
right?
Because it's a hot dog.
Because it can be served without the bread.
That's correct. But it's a hot dog.
It'd be the same as a hamburger.
If it was a sandwich, wouldn't it be called a hot dog sandwich? There's no sandwich in the name. It's a hot dog.
Yeah. I mean, like a hamburger. You can eat a hamburger with or without the bun.
That's right. Bill Hooks does that. He's very good at that.
Yeah. If you're doing keto. Next question is from the guy sitting across from you.
Okay.
Will, had you not gone into broadcasting, what would have been your second career path choice?
Damn. That's tough. I don't know. Probably something in business.
This
sales.
is a business.
You know what I mean by that.
Oh, what are you going to school for? Business management. I think 62% of people, when you ask them that, say that I went to school for business management.
I'm trying to think what I thought about growing up, or when I was in high school, what I wanted to do. I pretty early on, I knew I wanted to do something with media, or something in sports. But I remember in like the 7th grade, I had the ambition of being a police officer. I'm not sure that would have worked out for me.
What about like a beekeeper?
A beekeeper?
Why not?
No, I'll tell you what, maybe banking, because I remember I had a mock interview with a bank, and she was like very happy with my answers.
Huh.
So that would have been a good.
Were you like an FBLA or any of that weird stuff?
No.
You weren't?
Mm-mm.
FFA? No?
No.
Okay.
Maybe a rock star, because I was, in the band. Okay, anyways, let's move on.
All right. Looks like Ernesto. Will, did you feel the Jags overpaid Trevor Lawrence?
No, I don't think so. He's really improved the last 2 years. He's made the playoffs. When was the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs before he got there? So I think that's really impressive. But also look at the quarterback market. You don't really have many choices. Joe Burrow, ever since he got that contract, it's like, and that's why the NFL owners are talking about the salary cap thing is, once somebody gets paid, you just have to step it up.
Yep. It's the next guy who's got the next, contract.
Exactly. So I really don't think overpaying for a quarterback is a thing in the NFL.
Try being a Cowboys fan.
Well, that's true. But what are you going to do? Let Dak walk?
Yeah.
Who are you going to get? Everybody's paying their guys.
Yeah, I'd go with the backup.
Go
Draft another one.
Go get Ryan Tannehill? Justin Fields?
The dude they had from Texas that was like 5-0 or whatever he was when Dak was hurt.
Oh, yeah. Who was that guy?
I can't remember his name.
I will say, though, actually, when I said you can't overpay for a quarterback, you can. Just ask Broncos fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Another question from Nora.
Will, are you going to do a Rumpelmintz shot tonight?
Ooh, I don't know about that, Nora. That's all you. She's the Rumpelmintz queen. That's her nickname around Tavern.
What's your go-to shot?
Crown Apple.
Oh, I love Crown Apple.
Me too. I know you do. You like to do it with soda water.
Well, it'd be just a shot, though. But if you're talking just a shot, I know this is the Ask Will segment. I'm sorry, I won't.
No, what's your? No, please.
I think it's called Sambuca.
Oh,
because
God.
or any of that stuff that tastes like black licorice.
I've tried that.
I love it. I love black licorice.
I've tried that.
It will honestly. If I'm ever out on your birthday, it's a tradition now. I always get the birthday person a Prairie Fire. But
what's a Prairie Fire?
It's tequila with Tabasco in it.
Oh, okay.
Now
I could do that.
But to not be, and it used to be like an evil trick for people when they turned 21. But because I'm not that guy, I will always take one with them.
Do you know what the shot of the summer is at Tavern right now? And it's very similar to that. Instead of putting Tabasco and tequila, we have a pickle vodka, and you put Tabasco into the pickle vodka. We call it a spicy pickle shot. It's really popular.
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
Yeah, the pickle thing is kind of making its circuit right now. I was over at the a few of the grocery stores or wherever, and maybe it's one of our local breweries here has like a pickle beer.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty.
Yeah, you're right. It's really popular. The only thing is, though, it's attracting kind of some odd people. Last weekend, I had 2 older women come in and ask for 2 spicy pickle shots, and one of them was smoking a cigarette. So you got to get out of here with that. That was like the 1940s. They were the sharpest knives in the drawer.
But for a long time, we would always get a bottle of cucumber sake for our softball tournaments.
Ooh, now that I might be interested in. Is there any more questions on there?
Yes, I think. Let's see. Ernesto, again, how do you feel about Rory taking off after his meltdown?
Oh, man. I mean, that was brutal. He did what anybody would have done. What is he supposed to do? Hang around and, let's not forget, he's like not great with live guys. He's stood high on that pedestal for years, being not with live, and of course Bryson with live. So I'm sure there was a little anger in that a live guy beat me, but also just the way he lost. I mean, if I was Rory, I would have got out of there too. I don't think he did anything wrong. what was he supposed to do? Stay back and shake his hand? Like, no. I think he did I think he did what anybody else would have done.
We doing one more break, or are we seeing this through?
Let's stay here.
Okay.
What do you got going on today?
I'm going to go to work, but I also have one more final one, because who knows when I'll get to be here on Thursday again.
I'm ready.
So I want your never, ever, ever too early record prediction for the football team.
See, Shane just asked that
did he?
thing.
Did it? But I don't know when I'm going to be back in again.
Well,
I
guarantee
Bill
you,
could never take another Thursday off again until the start of the season.
You're gonna be back tomorrow, but
You're right.
I'm gonna veto these two questions because it is early. It was midsummer.
But I said never too early.
No, to me it is early.
What's
okay?
What's not your prediction then? But what should be the basement expectation then? How's that?
Bowl game.
Okay, so 6-6.
Bowl game.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that are going to get mad at me for saying that because they expect more than that. But let's not forget, we haven't made a bowl game in how long? It seems unfair to me.
Have you ever been alive for us to make a bowl game?
Yeah, I think the last one was the Foster Farms.
Oh yeah, where it had those chickens singing during the commercials, and
Stanley Morgan had a breakout game.
Yeah, it was like Night Ranger. They were singing Night Ranger.
Yeah,
and I still have nightmares to this day about that.
Yeah, so I'd say bowl game.
All right,
but I could see us getting to 7 or 8 wins. Schedule's nice, but I'm not diving into that yet. It's midsummer. There's I always said if we're talking about that right now, midsummer, then we don't have enough good content on the show. That's my opinion on that,
folks. I think we pegged him on that. We do have good contact. I just wanted to put his feet to the fire for the record there.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today.
Let's run it back again tomorrow, shall we?
See you tomorrow. We'll have Jeff Moats on the show.
Jeff Moats, is Dr. Dane coming in?
I'll have to text him.
Okay.
He was gone last week. We'll see if he's back in town. Usually when he gets back from vacation, he's kind of busy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he can't come in. And
I think we may have somebody from a local high school come in and visit with us, maybe do some shadowing, who wants to be a broadcasting major, not business management.
I'll try and not ruin his ambitions. Hopefully he sees my life and thinks it'll be a good idea.
Maybe become a mortician instead.
That pays.
I know it does, but that's something you have to want to do.
Yeah. Well, Theo, thanks again for coming in.
Absolutely.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Everybody on the chat, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Bill Hooks will be back on Tuesday. Enjoy your Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.